Near the end of an interview, you need to be ready to accomplish 4 things. First, it's critical that you take the opportunity to ask questions about your potential employer. Asking questions helps demonstrate your interest in the opportunity. So be prepared to ask 3 to 5 questions based on the research you did to prepare for the interview. Second, you want to initiate closing the interview by thanking the recruiter for the interview opportunity and also by asking about the next steps in the hiring process. Third, it's a good idea to ask the recruiter for their business card just in case you want to follow up. And fourth, show your enthusiasm, express your sincere interest in the job, and make sure you reiterate your fit with the position using information you gained during the interview. So if you do those 4 things, you'll close the interview like a pro.
So I do try to give the opportunity to ask questions towards the end of the interview usually. I assume that people want to know about the firm and want to know about the position, but it's also a really good opportunity to set yourself apart from other people. I do interviews all day long, and they're typically the exact same interview all day long. And so if somebody asks me a different question that helps them stand out, it makes them a little bit more memorable. So somebody can get creative and do a little bit of research and maybe look at our website or look at the news about us and use that to feed their questions. That really sticks out to me. The other thing I look for is honest questions, people genuinely wanting to know about the firm, genuinely wanting to know about the position, asking about our culture or what they would be doing or things like that. Then I know that they're really trying to figure out if this is the right fit for them, which is just as important as figuring out if they are the right fit for us.
Asking questions at the end of an interview is critical. If a student does not ask questions at the very end, that tells me either they didn't do enough research or they're not interested in me enough to ask a few more things. And that's why I always encourage people, especially in mock interviews that we do, I want to know, what is it about us that you're curious about? What is it that I didn't answer during the interview process? Demonstrate to me that you did a little bit more research than the average student. Demonstrate to me that you are interested in not only me, but the company that I work for by asking those thoughtful questions. Those are simple enough to find by maybe going on the website and asking things that are related to current events. Maybe you want to ask about me specifically, my career path. We do get asked that question a lot, but I think that's a fair question to show interest in the recruiter and how they got where they are. 9 times out of 10, we may have started somewhere in the business and then got into recruiting later on, so you may learn something by asking that specific one.
I think it's great when you can, as you're phrasing a question, preface it by saying, I was doing research on this. Can you elaborate on this? Because it shows that you've done research on the company and you're not asking something that you could go and look at that's already on the website. So try to avoid questions like, what's your culture like? What's a day in the life? What's your typical 9 to 5? Because those are very generic and we get a lot of those questions. So I think it's important, if you're wanting to stand out, to really avoid those and get more specific with the questions that you're asking.
It's really an opportunity for students to continue to sell themselves as to why they're interested in the role and why they would be a good fit, particularly if we're on a site visit. So if the students are out interviewing with us on our campus, I love for them to take pieces of what they've learned on their visit and really take that context and weave it into curiosity as to, hey, I heard that you have X, Y, and Z. I was wondering, I wanted to learn more about that, or I thought that was interesting because, and really continue to relate the role or the company back to themselves even further to show genuine engagement and curiosity.
So my last question is, what kind of skills do you look for in order to make an intern really successful during the summer at the company?
Well, in this internship with J&J, it's a finance internship, so clearly we need somebody who's going to show up with some of the analytical skills and the technical skills for finance. But we also need someone who's self-motivated, someone who's a self-starter.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. I'm a teaching assistant on campus, and I spend a lot of time leading groups and helping them through really challenging accounting problems, so that seems like something I would really enjoy during the summer.
Great.
Do you know what I could expect to hear back?
Well, since it's Friday, I think it'd be about a week later, so next Friday you should hear something from us about what the next steps in the process are for you.
Okay. And could I have a business card just in case I want to follow up?
Sure, I'd be happy to share that with you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited about the summer. It seems like everything I've heard has been great about the internship program, and I'm really looking forward to hearing back.
Fantastic. We'll be in touch. What the student did well. Greater interaction with the recruiter. The student expanded on how he has the skills the recruiter just described which are needed for the job. The candidate took initiative to ask about the next steps in the hiring process. Remembered to ask for the recruiter's business card. Finally, the candidate expressed his genuine interest in the position and the company. Improvements. Sometimes when we are nervous or focused, we can appear to be too rehearsed. Our advice for this candidate is to relax and use his body language to show he is confident and relaxed. One easy way to do this is to smile and slightly lean in. Next, closing the interview should feel conversational, so the candidate can show confidence through asking questions and commenting on the recruiter's responses.